my criteria of becoming a successful full-time or part-time trader. So my what I believe is the important characteristics of someone who's going to be successful as a trader, and I want to try to get those across to you. What I've learned in my close to 20 years of trading, and having the ups and downs of trading, and really being able to look back at my mistakes, correct those, move forward, understand what works, understand what doesn't work, and continue build upon that process, and now be able to share and look back and see the success of it. So now feeling the confidence, which is actually one of those criteria, is confidence. And once you get that confidence, you're able to let your trades perform. But not to start off too quickly. The other thing we want to do is actually give you some good examples of some recent trades, and just kind of do a review of the week. And I think in that case, we're going to see good examples of what the characteristics are of becoming a successful trader. So again, I'm just doing this live here at night in the office. So my thoughts might be not put together as much as I would like them, but this is coming straight from me, and I hope you enjoy that. So again, I was actually the chart on here right now is Lockheed Martin, and you can see there's a nice little pattern here called the wedge pattern, and some other lines and arrows and stuff. And this is a trade that I recently took in the on the show. And for those that don't know, I have a radio show, a weekly, or actually a daily stock market radio show, DayTraderRockStar, and it's a webcast, so you get to see the trades active. And we were trading this one in the on the site, and as when I did notice Lockheed Martin come at one of my scans, I said, oh my god, this is a great setup. It falls into a high probability setup, which is one of my key things of becoming a successful trader, is having a system, or not even to say a system, but having something that you could trust in and believe in, not a random market judgment, but you want to have something that has proven itself over. So I use what I call as the high probability setup system, or the multiple indicator system, 5 indicator system. And with that lets the market come to me instead of me chasing the market. It really gives me some definition and some guidelines to follow, so I'm not randomly trying to trade this market. It's now a business to me. So we're going to get into that little part in a little bit, but I think one of the most important things that I see as beginner traders come into the market, they're not used to the markets. They're not familiar with their own personalities, exactly how they deal with greed, how they deal with the fear. A lot of people get overextended in the market, not understanding how to manage their money correctly. So all these have to be learned, and they have to be learned by yourself. I mean, you have to learn them yourself. I mean, there's something that can't be taught. Each person has a different pain threshold. Each person has a different personality type, and there's probably not a script for each individual person. But what you need to understand is you got to have enough money to trade. You can't be trading with scared money, as they say, because that takes you out of your positions right away. And a good example is trading like a Lockheed Martin here and getting off. What would get me in on this one is just to test the lower trend line, and I would get in on the lower trend line. In this case, probably did that around here, and it moved up to the upper trend line here and pulled back. And there might be people that got in also at this level and didn't take their profits off, and all of a sudden starting to lose faith in the trade, and they start getting worried here. Oh my God, there's 2 bearish days, and looks like we're going to drop out, and we're not moving, and they get frustrated and they sell out, and then miss the whole move of the stock. Because first they're impatient, but most important, they don't have the confidence in their trading styles, and they don't believe in their setups. And I think it's very important to believe in your setups. And if you have a structured criteria, structured system, that it should be easy enough to find the setups, let the setups come to you, and then take those setups and let them work out. All right, there should definitely be a reason to sell, not just because it's not you have to develop that yourself, your patience levels. So that's very important, having enough capital. And if you do have, doesn't mean that you need to have $100,000 in the market. It doesn't mean you need to have $25,000 in the market. It doesn't mean you need to have $10,000 in the market. You could trade with $5,000. All right, I don't know what everyone's situation is, Doesn't mean that you need to be a full-time trader with $5,000. No, probably can't do that. But I mean, there's no reason why you can't invest or trade your money whenever you can in the market with $5,000. What you have to understand is everything, has to be relative. You can't just, again, if you're trading with $5,000, you can't be all in and then think that that you're gonna make that type of. You have to scale it down enough where you can still let these patterns play out without feeling that you're at the mercy of the market. The market doesn't perform like you want it. You get scared out because you're afraid of losing all that capital. Maybe in a position where you start off, you need to scale back so you don't feel the fear and you have the confidence. And the confidence comes with not having fear. And when that plays out, then you're able to let your setups activate and the trades come through. So confidence in your trades. If you don't have confidence in your trade, basically, it's pretty much gambling. So what does that mean? That means if you don't have a system or a reason why you're getting into a trade, then you're pretty much hoping that the trade's going to go your way. If you have a system or you have a reason why, be it the 5 indicator system or a certain criteria for getting into a stock, then you have something. You have a basis. You have trust in the market. You have trust in your system. And if you're going to do this full time or part time or whatever, and try to do this and make this a career, then you better believe in what you're doing. You cannot survive here constantly saying, well, this looks okay. I want to get in this, or I want someone told me, that eventually will catch up to you and you're going to be wrong. You have to establish, your line in the sand saying, this is why I'm buying something. And once you find that, that success rate start to build and you start to refine your system, and then you can lock that in, and then you need to be disciplined enough to just take those levels. Now, with myself, I can stick to my system, and might not be the most exciting trade each day because it takes time for these systems, setups to play out. But my success rate will be much higher than just the average person who randomly trading the markets, because I'll be taking the highest probability setups. So in this case, Lockheed Martin, right down here, you get a nice move on there, and then you might have to wait 7 to 8 days before the next setup, which would be right here. And this is actually the same trades we took on the pullback to the trend line. So again, you have to have something there. You can't just gamble in the markets, and you must believe in your ability. And again, once you have that set up, I would wait. And again, this is just the characteristics and criteria for being a successful trader. The better your success rate is going to be determined how much patience you have in the market. Again, if you, in my case, I use certain kinds of patterns that I wait for in the 5 indicator system, where I want to have 2 indicators set up, 3 indicators. I honestly really want to have 3 indicators all backing each other up, supporting each other's. If there's 4 or more, then it's a high probability setup. Now I could just take 3 or better indicators and just wait for those setups, and my probability of getting successful trades are going to go up and up if I just wait for 4 to 5 of those setups to happen, meaning a pullback and a stochastic setup and underlying moving average. It might not happen every day, it might not happen every month on a certain stock, but there's a lot of stocks out there that will rotate into these patterns, and eventually you'll start to key on them. And if you have a good system of good rotation of focus stocks, I mean the stocks that you have on your grand watch list that which you break down each week after you do your research, as you scroll through those and rotate through those each week, you'll see these setups come into play, and like, wow, there's a setup here. So when I did notice Lockheed Martin, all right, that was a great setup. There was a nice a nice wedge in the stochastics, a wedge pattern on the lower part of the trend. There was actually even support back at $68, so it was actually a higher probability setup. And with that, you got a nice move. Now after that move, it's the other important criteria is to take profits. So you can't be greedy. You have to learn how to take profits faster than slower. In this case, I use the momentum and stochastics to help me gauge where the momentum is going to run out, and you take profits. And if you have that pullback, you have another entry, because this is a secondary entry position, is a pullback to the 20, 50 with oversold stochastics, or the lower trend line. In this case, we pulled back to the low, the trend line, which lowered underneath it, and we got that bounce right off of it. Again, that's just examples of some some of the criteria that I use to get myself into stocks. And I might not take this trade here, but I will take it here, and I'll take it here, and it'll give me a higher probability chance of being a successful trade. All right. So stick to your rules, and again, trade recognizable patterns. That's very important. Don't want to, if something's working and wedge patterns are working for you, channels, inverted head and shoulders, flags, continue to use those. Don't don't try to stray too far from the path that's leading you in the right direction. I know it's hard sometimes to be in front of the computer and not, and sit there all day and wait for that setup to happen. If that setup doesn't happen, you end up taking trades out of boredom and stuff. And those trades, the probability and the risk level is a little bit higher. You're not sure the reward. At that point, you're gambling again. And again, it depends on what you want out of the markets. If you want to gamble and you want to do that, sure, you could take those trades. You could feel the rush of the trade. You could be in and out. But if you want to have a structured, what I like to say, a business, something that's paying the bills that you want to do for the rest of your, for however long you want to do it, try to get that freedom and stuff, you need to establish some type of structure, trading plan, have the discipline, and everything that goes along with it. And once that happens, then you get to call the shots. So that's my little speech on some of my secrets of being a successful full or part-time trader. Now, I wanted to go over some of the stocks, and we'll go over them fast. Hopefully, I'll get through them real fast. And you'll probably notice a lot of these setups fall right into that category which we were talking about. I'll try to explain them fast. All right, FRO. Again, these are off the watch list and off the trades that we take during the day. And again, I do a radio show each day at DayTraderRockStar. And you're looking at the screen here as you're looking at the screen on the show. It's a webcast and it's live during the market hour. So kind of explain these setups as they're happening. FRO, again, another downward wedge pattern. Again, the buy triggers go out. Stochastics pulled back. This looks really great going forward, so the FRO continues to look good. The GNK was a recent setup here, and actually this is another wedge pattern. You can start to see my wedges start to play out to the upside. Again, I'm using stochastic divergence support level, so this is a multiple indicator setup also in GNK, and continue to break out. And again, the red, orange, and green things are all from the watch list targets and stuff, which go out. ITRI, let's see what we got here. Excuse me, ITRI. Now this was a stock divergence, stochastic divergence setup, and again, I got to teach you about that. That's it's a sideways consolidation in the stock pattern. Stochastics pulling back into an oversold level, and then a break up to the upside on the stock price. A very great setup when you have it as one of my key setups. So again, once you start to see those set up, I pretty much automatically take those. And and that's really a successful trade for me. So again, I wait for the highest probability setups just to be able to profit on those. There's a couple other ones. MIR, this one, I'm very proud of this one because this again falls. I've been doing the research. I do my research each week, and I come across a stock that really looks great, and I might go out on this one. It's like, wow, this one has been down for the last 2 years. What makes me come in here and try to just tell everyone that it's going to turn around and head up? Well, because I believe in my system so much. I believe in it so much that I'm able to put down, hey, we're about to break out to the upside, more than we ever did in the last 2 years. And that's a pretty tough call right there. But again, today we see that expansion breakout. We start breaking through the trend line. It looks like this one's going higher on Monday. And again, I'm very happy about this setting up because that just instills more confidence in certain setups and the indicator setups and stuff. And the sideways consolidation here was holding very nicely. So MIR really meant a lot to me to see that push up. Pen Games. This is a different type of setup altogether, but I just have it on the list here just to go over it. This is a multiple. It's kind of a downward trending line, but again, the stochastics, when they turn up closer to the trend line, you get that momentum before you get into an overbought level. This is kind of a a continued trend here. When you have a downward trend and stochastics get oversold, you make a lower low. Once that changes, you get an oversold level, you make a higher low and a higher low. So Penn was one of those situations. Vulcan Materials, Millennium, Farmers, these other new ones that were set up, nice setups. Again, the classic pattern, the inverted head and shoulders pattern, the divergence, and the move up from that. We took that off the table for a nice little profit. And then there's a lot of other trades here. God. So just gonna send that out. It was more of just a little pep talk there, and hopefully you gain something from that. I'm gonna try to get a couple more videos out this weekend, and I'm gonna be doing the 10 for 1,000 watch list and sending it out this weekend also. So look for that. And I hope everyone enjoys the show coming up next week. Should be back. I'll be back Monday morning, 9 o'clock. Good to be back in the markets. So I'll see you then.